Tomorrow marks 20 years since the deadliest attack on U.S. soil. Nearly 3,000 people were killed on 9/11. More than double that were injured. The loss and heartache from that day did not end after the Twin Towers fell. In the past 2 decades, more people are believed to have died from 9/11-related illnesses than from the attacks themselves. John Feal was a construction worker who was injured responding to Ground Zero in the days following 9/11. He's also the founder of the Feel Good Foundation, which provides financial assistance to injured emergency personnel. John, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you share with us a bit of your story from 9/11 and the days following it?
Yeah, Warren, thank you for having me. Big fan. My story pales in comparison. I'm really insignificant and minute when it comes to those who are deathly ill and those who have died. And while my injury at Ground Zero was horrific and gruesome, and while I hold the title of the worst injury at Ground Zero during the 10-month cleanup, it's not a title I'm proud of. My 5.5 days at Ground Zero before I was injured, nor my injury, defines who I am. And my mother passing in 2006 in April was more painful than my physical injury. And I lived my life accordingly to how my mother raised me. And that injury is the reason why I am what I'm doing now, and that's advocating and helping tens of thousands of people who couldn't go to D.C. and fight because they were too sick. And all those men and women that went to D.C. with me, uniform and non-uniform, they deserve all the credit over the last 20 years of what we've gotten accomplished.
I want to get to what you've done in Congress in just a moment, but let's get to the beginning of your foundation. You started a foundation to provide some financial assistance to wounded emergency personnel. Tell us how that all started.
One, I can't even take credit for the naming of my foundation. That was done by a part-time employee, a beautiful little black woman who was about 75 years old. And I couldn't come up with a name. And she was like, "Baby, what's your last name?" I said, "Feal." She goes, "You're the Feel Good Foundation." And I was like, "Wow, can I spell it F-E-A-L?" And she's like, "Of course, you're the boss." So that's how the birth came. I didn't have John Feal and the Feel Good Foundation to help John Feal. And I had a struggle the first few years after 9/11. And then I started helping individuals. And, we were just supposed to put food on table. And now we've donated close to $9 million. We've helped pass 13 pieces of legislation. I donated a kidney to a complete stranger. And we built a park on Long Island dedicated to those who have died since 9/11 from their illnesses. And I'm not done. I feel like I'm capable of doing more.
And you, of course, were side by side with Jon Stewart and others who went to Congress to fight for the renewal of the Victims' Compensation Fund. Tell us what that was like for you personally to fight for help from your government, from your elected representatives.
Yeah, that's a head scratcher, right? We had to fight our own government to get help. Listen, our own government lied to us the days and weeks that followed 9/11, saying the air was safe to breathe, the water was safe to drink. Let's get Wall Street up and running because human life took a backseat to the almighty dollar. Nobody ever apologized to us. And we had to fight all the way up until 2010 to get the bill passed the first time. Then in 2015, renewed again. And then in 2019, renewed again. They've continued to put obstacles and hurdles in front of us. And we used to have to go around them. Now we just go through them because we have zero tolerance. The members of Congress or the Senate who lack empathy, lack humanity, and they put their career longevity and their Twitter accounts in front of human life. It's, 20 years ago, we all came together. We were galvanized. We put aside our differences, our ideologies, our religions, our political affiliations. And I pray tomorrow. I just, with every ounce of fiber in my body, I pray that everybody takes 5 minutes out of the day or an hour or the whole day and just puts aside their differences to remember those that we lost and to remember those that we continue to lose, because we're better than this. And 20 years ago proves what we're capable of. And 20 years is also a reminder that those men and women were the best of the best of what this country offered. And they were our nation's greatest resources. And I'm going to continue to fight for them.
John, that's a beautiful request to just put aside 5 minutes of the day today and come together, as Americans, as one. And John, what do you continue to fight for now? What is your foundation continuing to advocate for in terms of the victims of 9/11?
Yeah, we're putting people in the program every day. In 2015, there was 75,000 people in the World Trade Center Health Program. Now, today, there's over 113,000 people in the World Trade Center Health Program. The further we get away from 9/11, it's getting worse. We're evolving for the worse. With age, 20 years removed, and now with all of these illnesses, everybody's immune system's different, just like our fingerprints. And these latency periods of these toxins from these chemicals are now 20, 25, 30 years. And the first 20 years were really hard on us, but the next 20 years is going to decimate the 9/11 community. And I don't say this lightly, but my analytics are never wrong. And I'm tired of going to funerals. I'm tired of going to wakes. I'm tired of going to hospice and holding someone's hand when they die. This is painful. Nobody owns 9/11. Nobody. We're all shareholders of that horrific Tuesday morning, and some have more stock than others because they were directly affected and impacted by that day. But there's no closure for so many people because they haven't gotten the justice they deserve. They haven't found a loved one. They lost a loved one and they're not over it. None of us have the right to tell people to move on. They have to do it at their speed. And we need to show some sort of empathy and humanity 20 years later because we're so far removed that, everybody thinks, oh, this is 9/11, it's 20 years. It's the longest day in the history of days for tens of thousands of people who just are not recovered yet. And I'm trying to find a positive in this, and I'm trying to appreciate the magnitude of destruction and devastation 20 years later. But all I see is death and suffering. I'm an activist and I'm an advocate, but I'm an historian. And I've had a front row seat since 9/12 till present day. And it's not pretty. And I pray, and again, I pray this Saturday, man, we do something special and we just don't do anything stupid that's going to make it newsworthy and takes away from the stories of the heroic actions of those who ran into harm's way and the innocent lives lost to senseless violence.
Yeah. Well, John Feal, thank you so much for all that you do for the victims and their families of 9/11, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.